I'll catch a 3:30 plane tomorrow. That ought to get me in St. Louis about 5. If you want me, I'll be at the Plaza Hotel. M.
Hmm? I heard you. You'll be at the Plaza.
For a moment, I thought I was talking to myself. And don't forget, you have an appointment to see Dr. Matthews at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, well,
No, I don't like that pain you've been getting in your side.
Probably nothing.
Probably. But it's much better to be sure. Now, don't you try to run out on it. 2 o'clock in Dr. Matthews' office.
All right, all right, all right.
Still in there, Doctor.
You'd better see if she's all right.
Mrs. Dean.
Oh, yes, Eva.
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right, Eva.
Shall I call your husband so he can pick you up?
Thank you, but he's not in town. He had to make a trip to St. Louis. I'm just as glad in a way. I'd rather tell him this sort of thing myself. You know how husbands are. No, I guess you don't, do you?
Shall I call you a taxi?
I suppose so.
All right.
Oh, no, Eva, wait. Wait, dear. I've so much to think about. It's a nice day. I think I'd rather walk.
That might be too much exertion. I'd better ask the doctor.
No, don't bother him, please. Eva, I've known you ever since you were about so high, haven't I?
Yes.
Now you're grown up, graduate nurse, listening to other people's troubles. I suppose you heard everything Dr. Matthews said to me, didn't you?
Yes.
It's a funny thing. Nobody expects to live forever. Your doctor tells you that the end of the road isn't very far ahead. Could be any time at all. Just can't believe it. Not one atom of your body believes it. Well, no use talking about it, I guess. I'm sorry, Eva.
That's all right, Mrs. Dean.
I'll be careful. If I should get tired, I'll call a cab.
I would if I were you.
Bye.
Bye.
Emily Dean had known these streets for years without really seeing them. Now, when it seemed she might never see them again, they were suddenly very dear to her. Her eyes clung to every familiar detail. She began to remember things. The small odds and ends of 50 years of living. 50 years. Mileposts along the years of her life, pointing like accusing fingers. She had long known they were there, but it had been easier not to see certain things. The things she had left undone, and things she had intended to do, but never quite got around to. She and Ed. It didn't seem so long ago that she and Ed had walked through this park hand in hand and sat on that same bench.
Oh, Ed, I'm so excited. Just think, by this time tomorrow, I'll be Mrs.
Edward Elwood Dean.
Poor Ed. Perhaps she had taken him a little too much for granted these last few years. Was it so long ago? It didn't seem so. And so time, in reaching for eternity, paused for a moment to look back.
This ring I give thee,
This ring I give thee,
in token and pledge
in token and pledge
of our constant faith
of our constant faith
and abiding love.
and abiding love.
I now pronounce thee man and wife, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Home. It's ours.
Yep, ours. And the bank's.
Oh, Ed. It's so wonderful. Let's keep it this way always. Well, Mr. Dean, doesn't look too bad for my first dinner, does it?
Terrific, Mrs. Dean.
Oh, Ed, I'm so full of thanks for everything.
Yeah, me too.
Saying it's just words. We have to do better than that. I think we have to live it every single day.
I'm with you, Em.
Oh, darling. It's all so beautiful. It's like something sacred.
I guess a lot of people have the idea that about all a minister does is preach and visit the sick.
Well, what else does he do?
Well, I try to visit people when they're not sick. I often find that people need help and don't know it. Take you two, for instance. You found something wonderful together. It's not just your love or your home. Something deeper than that. It's a quality of life.
We'd like to keep it.
Of course you would. And you can, too. But it won't be easy. I think there are 2 or 3 things you need to remember. One is, don't try to go it alone. There are too many forces at work in the world trying to tear down your ideals, your sense of values. You need the strength that comes from working in the fellowship of a church. Second, remember that there are 3 of you in a partnership. Ed, Emily, and God. Don't forget to talk to that third partner regularly. Last, and I guess if you don't remember anything else I say today, and remember this, our visit will have been worthwhile. If you want to keep that quality of life, you've got to share it. You can't just live for yourselves alone. You've got to work and pray and give, not just for people you know, but for people whom you don't know, whom you'll never see. That's one of the functions of the church. It can serve as the medium through which you express this Well, this matter of sharing.
We both used to be active in church work. I think I'd like to be again.
Well, I'd like nothing better than to see you both in church every Sunday morning. We'll find lots of work for you to do. But first, why don't you join the Couples Club? That's a group of young people, young married people like yourselves. They're active workers in the community, trying to make a better community and a better world, for that matter. There's a meeting this next Friday night. Can you make it?
Well, yes. We'd be glad to, wouldn't we, Ed?
Thanks for coming over this evening, Doctor.
Well, thank you for letting me come. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks for the cookie.
Oh, that's all right.
He's rather good at that, isn't he? Anybody?
Oh, no.
What's the matter, Addie?
Oh, Ed, I was going to have supper already by the time you got home.
Oh, so what? I just came home a little early, that's all.
Oh, what a day this has been. I washed the windows, cleaned all the woodwork, did the shopping, had to bake a cake in the middle of it all for the church, and then I...
Oh, wait a minute. Hold everything. Look, I just came home to tell you something.
What?
I got a raise.
What?
Mm-hmm. $5 more a week.
Oh.
Oh, I know it isn't much, but it means they like me down at the bank. And maybe someday I'll even get to be an assistant cashier. Or cashier, even. I'll get a real raise then.
Of course you will, darling. You think you'll get a real raise when you're president?
You bet your life I will.
Oh, I haven't any time for you. Get away from me. We've got to hurry.
Right.
Have to have an early dinner tonight.
What?
Well, committee meeting of the Couples Club, remember?
Oh, yes. We've enjoyed getting to know you, Mr. Saunders, and thanks for signing the card. Well, see you in church next Sunday.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Saunders. And I'm looking forward to meeting Mrs. Saunders.
Oh, that's a fine demonstration. Thank you very much. I wonder if you people realize what a great work you're doing. Calling on new people and inactive members of the church. You see, some of us are called to the Christian ministry, here or as missionaries. But most of us are lay people. That means our work is right here. Another thing, as lay people, you have a great many opportunities that aren't even open to me, for instance, as a minister. I mean the people you live with and work with. If they're going to see God, they're probably going to have to see Him in you. You can live so that Christ has a living witness in you wherever you are, day or night, in what you say, in what you do, and in what you are.
Dr. Emery, when we talk to these people, how much emphasis should we put on giving?
Well, I'm sure of one thing. Giving is essential to Christian growth. Giving's essential to life. Life is more than just a matter of all intake and no outgo. Otherwise, we become like the Dead Sea. No, sir. You show me a tither, a man who gives a tenth, and I'll show you a life in which the power of God is at work. The person who doesn't give, or who gives grudgingly, is almost sure to be spiritually anemic. This pledge card. That's more than just an ordinary pledge card. It's more than a request for money. It's a passport to a whole new way of life. It's a symbol of dedication to Christ. And that kind of dedication means changed lives. And changed lives mean a changed community. And maybe even a changed world.
Now about this card.
Well, we feel when you realize how much the church means to you that you'll want to become active members of it and give regularly to its support.
Oh, we used to be very active in church work, but you see...
But we've been terribly busy. You have no idea.
Sure, I know how it is.
But this is important.
Oh, it isn't that we aren't interested. We are. We try to be good Christians, but it's just that,
We thought
well,
we were Christians, too. But we found it isn't easy outside the church.
We need help.
Oh, I'm for the church. It's a great institution.
The church is a great institution. It's a world institution. And if we don't want to have another war, we've got to think about the whole world. And the people in China and Africa and India. And do something to help them find a better way to live. Now, by ourselves, we can't do much. But through the church, we can do a lot if we all pitch in and help.
Well, I don't know what we can do right now. Maybe later on we can help out.
Well, what my husband's trying to say is that it isn't that the church needs us. It's that we need the church. Oh, I don't know how to say this very well, but it's made a big difference to Ed and me to put Christ at the center of our lives and to be with other people who are trying to do the same thing. We haven't been married very long. And we think we've found something, and we want to keep it. And we want others to have it, too.
Well, anyway, will we see you in church next Sunday?
If we possibly can, yes.
Now, about this card.
Oh, let's not decide this tonight, Sarah. You know how things have been this year. We'll talk it over and see what we can do. We'll let you know.
Sure. That'll be fine. Well, it's been very nice meeting you.
Goodbye.
Oh, a wedding.
But in spite of discouragement, Ed and Emily plunged wholeheartedly into the life and work of the church.
Mr. Decker, I've been wanting to talk to you. I've heard so much about that neighborhood house. Tell me, what kind of work do you do down there?
Oh, we serve the people who don't have any other place to get together. Some of them need food and clothing and jobs, but even more than that, we try to give them a new spirit in their lives so they can do more for themselves.
Oh. Well, that sounds wonderful, Mr. Decker.
I'd give a lot if I could get you and Ed to come down and give us a hand one night a week.
Oh, what could we do? We've never done anything like that.
Oh, you could help with the games and the craft work, lots of things. But above everything else, you'd be helping by just being there.
Really?
Yes, you see, if they can just feel that somebody likes them or cares a little bit about their problems, they need that, like all the rest of us.
Oh, I see. Well, that's wonderful. Yes, it is. It's really wonderful what you're doing. Oh, I wish Ed and I weren't so busy with a lot of other things, but well, I don't see how we could take on anything else just now. But maybe later.
Think about it, will you, Emily? We're trying to get Christianity across to these people, but words don't mean very much to them. What they really understand are things that happen, things that they can see. Well, think about it, will you, Emily?
Suppose we didn't have a nice house to give parties in. Suppose we had to depend on the neighborhood house.
Sounds like you've been talking to Harry Decker.
I certainly have. It was hard to turn him down. I don't see how we could go down there one night a week. We're too busy.
That's what I told him. So don't worry about it. He'll find somebody to help him out.
Yes, I guess so. Only, suppose he doesn't.
Forget it.
I wish I could, but I keep thinking about those people he was talking about. We think we're pretty good Christians, but maybe we need to put it into practice more. Mr. Decker says those people don't understand words, just things that happen, things they can see. Ed, you know who those people really are?
No, who?
They're our neighbors.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They are. And it would only take one night a week, wouldn't it?
Uh-huh.
Why don't we try it?
Well, all right, let's try it.
Okay.
Oh.
She and Ed had something in those days. Something fine. Why hadn't they been able to keep it?
Young lady. Young lady, you dropped your...
Emmy, you awake?
Oh, come in. Did you see him?
Oh, you bet I saw him. What a guy. His eyes were open, too. I got a good look at him. They're gonna be just like yours.
But he's got your nose.
Oh, he's as bright as a dollar. He's the best looking one in the bunch, too. I looked at them all. There must be a dozen of them. He's a standout.
That's our Richard.
Richard? Did you decide on that?
Well, didn't I tell you?
No.
Well, Richard Elwood Dean, after my father.
Oh, that's nice. Richard Dean. Dickie Dean. Dickie Dean, that sounds good, doesn't it?
Do you accept for yourself and for your son the covenant of God, and therein consecrate your son to him?
I do.
I do.
And do you promise to instruct him in the principles of our holy religion as contained in the scriptures, to pray with him and for him, and to bring him up in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord?
I do.
I do.
Richard Elwood Dean. And so Ed and Emily dedicated a new life and accepted the responsibility that goes with it. But he was never anything but Dickie to Ed and Emily. Of course, he had become the center of their lives. In fact, the center of everything.
Sound asleep.
Only time I get any rest. Oh, here, won't you sit down?
Thanks. You know, Emily, we're trying to get a nursery started, a day nursery for the children of working mothers.
Well, I think that's a wonderful idea, Doctor.
How'd you like to help? You know, perhaps one day a week. You could take your own baby with you. It wouldn't be much different from sitting here.
Oh, I'm afraid I have my hands full right now, Dr. Emery. Dickie's been off his diet the last few weeks, and since Ed took on more work at the bank, I've had a lot of extra entertaining to do, and we even had to give up our work at the neighborhood house.
Yes, I know, Emily. But this is a way for you to help yourself. When children come, so many mothers narrow their lives down to the horizon of their homes. You owe it to your family to keep your personality growing. One way to do that is through service to others. You and Ed have something very fine in your lives, Emily. You must never lose it.
No. No, we don't want to.
Nobody does. It just happens sometimes.
One more bite. Please, Dickie. Please.
Come on, Dickie. Have a bite. Not no more?
Oh, just one more bite. Well, I'm sorry, Dickie. Oh, Dickie. What? You want some?
Say, he sounds like a lawyer. Do you think we ought to send him to Yale or Harvard?
I don't know. He isn't even paid for yet.
Oh, give me time, honey.
Oh, Ed, I hate to owe so many bills. Doctor bills, hospital bills, all the things for the baby, and I had to get some clothes for myself. Ed, did you have to join the country club right now?
Oh, that's business. You want me to be president of the bank someday, don't you? All right, I've got to meet the big shots.
Well, you've got to cut down somewhere.
Yeah, but where?
You know, we haven't kept up our pledge to the church either.
Yeah, that's right. We'll just have to wait a while, I guess.
I guess so.
Emily tried to manage the details of living, but as sometimes happens, the details of living began to manage Emily.
Stay away from that dresser, Dickie. Oh, Dickie, look what you've done. You've broken my good pin tray. That belonged to your great-grandmother Elwood. She left it. Oh, what am I going to do with you? Oh, you're going to stay in this bed until I get my work done. Now, you just stay there until you learn to behave. Oh. It won't do you any good to cry. I keep telling you not to do these things. You pay no attention to me. Got to learn someday. Might as well be now.
It was a daily round of the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. Dozens of household frustrations.
Hello.
Hello, Em. Listen, honey, I just...
Well, now, let me tell you something. If you ever leave those shaving materials on that washstand again...
But No, Em.
Yes, the plumber's been here all day. The water's turned off, and I'm going crazy.
Now, wait a minute. Listen, I'm trying to tell you something. I've got to run up to Chicago this afternoon and testify in a check case. Why don't you come along?
Come along? How can I come along? Who's going to take care of Dickie?
Bring Dickie. We can have dinner there. Catch a train back in the morning.
You know tomorrow's the day that I'm entertaining those wives of your bank officials. How can I go gallivanting off to Chicago? I've got to clean the house thoroughly, bake a cake. Well, I don't know how I'm going to get it all done as it is.
All right. All right. Oh, I won't be home for dinner, Em. See you later, honey. Bye.
Bye.
Take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than food, and the body than raiment? Your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. Therefore seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
The Sermon on the Mount. But it had been easier not to listen too closely to those great words. There was a faraway look in her eyes as she looked across toward the pond. Somewhere she had read that swans sing when they were going to die. She thought of it now. She didn't feel a bit like singing. All she could think of was a line of a prayer she used to say when she was a little girl. If I should die before I wake. Why should children be taught to say things like that?
Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. God bless. Who now?
Mommy and Daddy.
That's right. And what? Amen?
Mm-hmm.
Amen. That's a good boy, Dickie. Oh.
Em, are you all right?
Oh, I'm just a little dizzy.
Here, you better sit down, honey. Let me help you.
All right.
Hey. Say, you'd better go see Dr. Matthews in the morning.
Oh, I'll be all right.
Say, Dickie, I'd like to introduce you to new brother Jimmy. Dickie, this is Jimmy, and vice versa. Well,
Oh, I miss you. Darling, we have the most wonderful family in the whole world.
you bet. Well, at least it's a nice beginning.
Oh. Oh, Ed. Edward Elwood Dean, do you expect to go to church in your pajamas?
Huh? Oh, golly, it's almost 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it was so late. You see, honey, well, what about yourself?
Well, I haven't had time to do anything but get Jimmy and Dickie off to Sunday school and wash the breakfast dishes.
I've got to read these financial pages sometime today. Besides, I brought home a lot of work from the bank.
Oh, Ed, I think we ought to go.
Yeah, I know we should, but... Honey, we'll make it next Sunday, huh?
But you...
That's a promise. Okay.
Okay. But next Sunday, no.
You know, I wouldn't want to say a word about Judy Morrison, but did you hear that her husband had left her?
Oh, no.
I heard he'd been drinking pretty heavily. Terrible, isn't it?
Yes. Well, just between us, of course, I'm not too surprised. Oh, I feel so sorry for that little girl of hers. She's such a bad-mannered child. Oh, I really shouldn't gossip like this. Your plate, dear.
Good afternoon, ladies.
Oh,
Hello, honey.
Hello, dear.
I forgot you were having a party.
Oh. You know everyone?
Oh, yes, of course. Hello, everybody.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dean.
Mrs. Gordon, forgive me for breaking in like this.
Oh, that's perfectly all right.
Come here.
And that's it, I'm afraid. You'll excuse me, girls. I'm dummy anyway. Please go right ahead.
Why, certainly, Emily. Well, I finally made a trip.
And that's it, I'm afraid.
Well, I got it.
You got what?
I've just been made cashier.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, and that's wonderful.
I'll play golf with the officers of the bank, and you play bridge with their wives, and maybe we'll get someplace.
Oh, and guess what?
What?
I've just been asked to join the garden club.
Oh, that's fine. You go ahead and do it. It won't do us a bit of harm.
That's what I thought.
Things began to look up for Ed and Emily. With Ed's promotion, they moved from the old house where they had lived when they were first married to a new house in what was called the better part of town.
Awfully good of you to stop by and give me a hand with this, Dr. Emery.
Pleasure, Emily. I like to do a little gardening when I have the chance.
With your green thumb, I'll probably win a prize at the garden club this year.
Nothing would suit me better. Unless it'd be to get you to chair a committee for me.
Oh? What kind of a committee?
Oh, the factories have laid the workers off again. Some of them haven't been able to find jobs. Others are sick. They need our help. You know, clothing, medical care, proper food for the children.
Oh, I see.
There's going to be a meeting this next Tuesday night.
Well, doesn't the city take care of that sort of thing? Or is it the county?
Can't leave this to the city or the county. These people need help. It's our Christian responsibility.
Oh, yes. We should do something about it, shouldn't we?
Then you'll be there Tuesday.
Tuesday? Well, there's something I have to do on Tuesday. I can't just think what it is. Oh, that's Ed's night at the club. There just don't seem to be enough days for... We'll come if we can.
All right, Emily. Well, good to see you again, anyway.
It's always good to see you, Dr. Emery.
You give Ed my best.
I'll do that. Sarah? Sarah?
Yes, ma'am.
Sarah, do you mean to tell me this table has been dusted?
Well, I thought I dusted it.
Well, it doesn't look it. And we're having guests for dinner tonight, and I want this room absolutely perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
Sarah, where's Mom?
She just went upstairs.
Mom! Mom! Come and look at the sunset. Did you see the sunset?
Is this your cap, young man?
Sure, Mom.
What's it doing hanging over there?
I'm sorry.
You're sorry. How do you expect me to have time to look at sunsets when I have to pick up after you all over the house? Now, put it in your room where it belongs.
Okay, Mom.
Your father never could pick up after himself either. Sunset. Hello? Yes, this is Mrs. Dean. Oh, Parent Teachers Association. Oh, yes. Well, we'll try to come if we can, but don't count on us. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly serve on any committee. Oh, no. It's not that I'm not interested, but, well, we're just too busy. James Francis Dean, this is the last straw. Your father's going to hear this. Ed, you've got to do something about this son of yours.
Oh, when he's bad, he's my son, and when he's good, he's yours. Is that it?
I warned you not to buy him that chemistry set. He's almost set fire to the house twice. Now he's splattered some blue stuff all over that wall upstairs.
Gee, Mom, I didn't hurt nothing.
You should see that wall. Didn't hurt anything. You should see that wall. Well, it's a perfect mess.
Last week it was frogs in the bathtub.
I don't care so much what they do if they just wouldn't do it here in the house. Why can't you collect stamps or something civilized like that? Oh, get on up there and clean up that mess. Go on now. And Richard, how many times must I tell you not to put your feet on the furniture?
Huh?
Young man, I spend my whole time trying to keep this house looking decent in case somebody drops in. And you sit there and... And you, Ed, will you please put out that smelly pipe?
Hello, Mom.
Oh, hello, dear.
Hiya, boy.
How was church?
All right.
What was the sermon about?
Oh, something about what profiteth a man if he gain the whole world and lose
His own soul.
That's right.
Oh, Jimmy, do you have to play the radio on Sunday morning?
This afternoon.
Well, never mind. I don't want to listen to it. Go upstairs and play your own radio.
Gee, Mom,
You heard what your mother said.
my radio don't work as good as that one.
Doesn't, dear.
Oh, it doesn't.
Well, never mind. Go on up. Do
Ladies
as I
and gentlemen, I interrupt the program to tell you that word has just come that Pearl Harbor has been bombed by the Japanese. Stay tuned to this station for further details.
War.
Oh, Ed.
You look mighty fine. Let's see how they took care of you down there.
Close fit.
That's a pretty good fit.
Hey, take it easy, will you?
I can still take care of you, you know.
That's a bet next time I come in. Take it easy, Mom. Look, it's getting kind of late. I have to get back to the base, you know.
Yes, well, Emily, I guess we
Come on,
better.
come back.
Let's go.
But,
I want you to take care of yourself.
Sure. There's a lot of guys out there, you know.
Yes.
Stop getting passes lately, see?
Gee, Dad, I don't see why you won't let me do it.
Jimmy, there are lots of other jobs besides that of being a soldier. Why, you're not even 18 yet.
But a lot of the guys have already joined up.
Never mind about a lot of the guys.
Look, Mom, can't you talk to Dad? Do something.
James, the matter is settled. I want to hear no more about it. What is it, Ed?
War Department.
Dickie.
Missing in action. That doesn't mean he's... That just means that he's missing.
Oh, no, it isn't true. I can't believe it. How could God do this to us? How could he? Oh,
Wars are born in the hearts of men, not in the love of God. You've got to try to understand that without bitterness. In times like these, we've got to cling tighter to our faith in God than ever before. Because when a personal disaster of this sort comes, it can sweep us away. We are to blame for the wars of this world. And because we've tried to settle our problems in this way, we've got to be prepared to pay the penalty to the last farthing. Christ came to tell us this, but we won't listen. You've got to put your hand in God's, Emily, and walk with him like a little child. If you do that, you'll find strength. And remember, Jesus said, "To him who hath shall be given. From him who hath not shall be taken away. Even that which he hath."
The wounds of the world were deep. They were spiritual as well as physical. There was need for a renewal of faith and the healing touch of time. What is there for the Eds and the Emilys of the world when the spiritual well runs dry? Emily suspected that something was wrong. She and Ed were drifting apart. But she refused to believe such a thing, or that it could be her fault.
Hello?
Hello, Em. I won't be home for dinner tonight. Yes, I've got to fly down to St. Louis. Don't suppose you'd like to come along, would you?
Well, in the first place, I have garden club meeting tomorrow. All the weekend shopping to do. Not to mention the fact that the house has to be cleaned from top to bottom, the laundry sorted, the dry cleaning picked up, and... Will you remember that the car has to be serviced today? Well, then I thought I'd...
Why don't you stop fussing? You'll get everything done. Yes. I may be gone the weekend, too. No. You can reach me at the Plaza Hotel. Bye.
Goodbye. And where do you think you're going, young man?
To Hilldale. I've been offered a job over there.
Hilldale? You march right back upstairs. Well, if it's a job you want, your father will get you one right here where I can keep an eye on you.
That's just what I'm trying to avoid, Mother.
What?
Don't get upset. It's just that I want to stand on my own 2 feet once in a while.
But
And I intend to do it.
Wait. This is your home.
Bye, Mom.
You come back here. I'm not finished talking to you.
Yes, life was slipping away from Emily and Ed. Years strewn with good intentions and lost opportunities. What had happened to them? They had started out so beautifully. Why was it that things hadn't worked out the way they had planned? And now, Jimmy was gone too.
There's a very undesirable family just moved in down the block. I think they're foreigners.
Oh, Emily, so what?
Well, after all, we have our position to maintain. Ed, I do wish you'd take a look at that new house I've been telling you about.
By the way, have you heard from Jimmy? Is he coming home for Thanksgiving?
Don't try to change the subject.
I'm not trying to change the subject. I just want to know if you've heard from Jim.
You know perfectly well I haven't.
There's the phone.
Hello? Oh, Jimmy. Well, it's about time you called your mother. You what?
Yeah, we got married last week. Well, we did it very suddenly. We decided it was better that way.
Married? But, Jimmy, you can't do that. I haven't even met the girl. What's her name? Irene. Well, Irene who?
Well, Irene Dean, of course. I'll tell you all about her when I see you, Mom. You're gonna love her. What?
You're coming over tonight? Oh, well, we were just going out, but... Oh, no, that's all right. We'll wait, of course. Yes? Jimmy's married.
No.
Her name's Irene.
Well, what do you know?
We don't even know the girl.
So what? It'll be all right. Just wait and see.
Hello.
Hello, Jimmy boy.
Mother, Dad, this is Irene.
How do you do? How do you do?
Welcome home, Irene. Say, Jimmy, I admire your taste. May I kiss the bride?
Well, I guess there isn't very much I can say, Mrs. Dean, except that I love Jimmy very much.
I see.
Oh, come on, Mom. Break down.
We'll just have to make the best of it, I presume.
Jimmy, what I think your mother means, perhaps, is that, well, she would have preferred to have a big church wedding, you know, with all the trimmings.
But that's just what we didn't want.
Of course.
It's all right, Mom. Wait till you get acquainted. Well, let's go out in the kitchen and make some coffee. Come on.
Oh, Jimmy, your mother doesn't like me.
Oh, sure she does. You just don't know Mom yet. Give her a chance, huh?
I didn't know she was going to be like that.
Come on, snap out of it. Come on.
Why did you have to give them the deep freeze? After all, he's our son and he married the girl he loved. Why do you have to make it so difficult for them?
I don't even know the girl or anything about her family.
It's just that you're hurt and jealous, that's all.
Well, of course I resent my son being whisked away from me by that girl.
Listen, Emily, whether you know it or not, you've grown very dictatorial these past few years. You drove your son away from home to begin with, and you'll never get him back if you go on like this. You're so wrapped up in your home and yourself that you can't see anything beyond it.
dare you talk that way to me?
It's about time somebody told you.
Of course, we expect you and Jimmy to make your home with us. You may have the front bedroom upstairs.
Oh, that'll be fine, Mom.
Oh, more coffee for you, my dear.
Oh, no, thank you, Mrs. Dean.
Well, Irene, we may as well understand each other from the beginning. There are certain things that I expect in this household, and I must ask you to comply with whatever I may... Well...
Mother, I'm afraid it won't do for us to stay here.
Well, what will you do?
Well, I suppose I could drive back and forth to Hilldale. It's only 15 miles. But I think it's better if we have our own place near my job. Sorry, Dad. So long.
Emily, remember that first dinner you cooked for us? You didn't talk like that in those days. I wonder what's happened to us.
With terrifying clarity, Emily was beginning to see the sort of person she had become.
We're from the couples club at the church. Dr. Emery said you used to be members of it.
Yes, we used to be quite active, but for some reason we just couldn't seem to find time to keep it up.
There's so many demands on our time now, you understand.
But don't you see, Mrs. Dean, Christianity isn't something that you keep to yourself. It's, well, you've got to share it if you want to keep it.
Seems I've heard that somewhere before. A long time ago.
It isn't that we're not interested, because we are. It's just that we... Well, but don't you see, it isn't so much that the church needs us. It's that we need the church. Oh, it's meant so much to us, calling on people and getting to know them in their own homes, and really trying to do something for Christ every day. You see, Mrs. Dean, we think we've found something. We want to keep it always, and we want others to have it, too.
I've heard that somewhere before, too. I hope you can keep it.
Perhaps, Mrs. Dean, you'd like to sign one of these cards.
Oh, well, I couldn't sign it just now. Mr. Dean and I will have to talk it over first. All right, Mrs. Dean.
It's been very nice to see you, young folks.
Yes, thank you for coming, both of you. Oh, that's all right. We'll look for you Sunday at church. Well, maybe you can bring the card with you. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I'll show you to the door. Nice kids.
Yes. Like we used to be.
I hope nobody tells them what they have to look forward to.
Maybe he doesn't want to be just a bank president.
How long is it since you've been to church?
What has that got to do with it? I've always tried to lead a good Christian life.
Yes, your Christianity's very... You get it out like a guest towel when somebody comes. Then you fold it up and put it away, back on the shelf.
How can you say those things to me? Do you think you're any better yourself? At least I've raised our 2 children and taken care of your home. I've cooked and cleaned and washed and ironed and scrubbed and entertained, all so you could be president of your little piggy bank. And what have you ever done to help? Nothing. Not one thing. You've always been too busy.
Oh, Em. What's happened to us?
I'm sorry. I never meant to be kind. I never meant to be unfriendly, intolerant.
All the things she had seen and had denied through the years were coming back to her, one by one. The tenderness that she had withheld, the impatience over trivialities. The sun was setting. She remembered the time when Dickie had wanted to show her the sunset. Why had she closed her life to all this? Why had she closed her life to God? If only she could find him again. If only there were still time.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be that day. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Ed. Ed?
What's the matter?
Ed, what are you doing here?
Well, who's a better right? Oh, what's the matter, Em? You have a bad dream? You whimpered a lot in your sleep last night. Thrashed around, too. I almost had to wake you up. No. I have to fly down to St. Louis this afternoon.
But you went yesterday.
Em, have you slipped a cog? I was right here last night. Remember the nice young couple that called on us?
Was that last night? Well, then what day is this?
Wednesday.
Oh, yesterday was Wednesday. I had an appointment with Dr. Matthews at 2 o'clock.
No, honey. Today is Wednesday.
Then today's the day I see Dr. Matthews.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. What's the joke?
Oh, nothing at all. I guess I dreamed you went away, and I thought today was Thursday, only it isn't, and I still have to see Dr. Matthews.
Yep.
Ed. Call me this afternoon before you leave the bank.
Okay. But why?
Well, I think I know what Dr. Matthews is going to say to me. That's all.
All right.
Don't forget it.
I won't.
Look, Em, there's nothing wrong with you that a little exercise and a proper diet won't take care of. That cardiograph was quite unnecessary. I suppose you'll feel better now you've seen it.
Yes, I do, Doctor.
You've got a lot of good years ahead of you. Now, run along and behave yourself. And give my best to Ed.
Thank you, Dr. Matthews. Thank you. I'll do that.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Hello? Oh, hello, Ed. I'm glad it's you. Yes. Just walked in the front door this minute. Dr. Matthews says I'm going to live.
Just what I thought. Well, I just called to say goodbye. I'm taking off for St. Louis in a couple of hours. Don't suppose there's much use in asking if you'd like to change your mind and come along.
Oh, I've got those curtains to hem up. And the painter's coming. You remember, he's got to do the back porch. I've been having trouble with that maid again. She's... Wait a minute. Ed, did you ask me to go to St. Louis with you? Do you really want me?
Well, I wouldn't ask you if I didn't mean it.
We haven't been anywhere together for a long time, have we, Ed?
Why, Em? What's come over you? We'll take a car, drive down, make a weekend of it.
Oh, Ed, that would be wonderful. We've got so much to talk about. So much. Ed, could we... Well, dear, I'd like to stop and see Irene and Jimmy and the baby. Yes, on the way, could we? Uh-huh. And Ed, let's plan to be back Sunday morning. I've got an appointment I'd like to keep.
All right, honey. We will.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, Father.
a second chance.